Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to something called a dopamine detox. I got inspired to do this actually a couple of weeks ago. I watched Alex Becker's video, this one, and Andrew Kirby's video, this one. And ever since watching that, then actually it started out with Alex Becker's video, the nightmare mode, no fab challenge type of thing. However, when I started making some research about it, then it actually made very good sense. It's not just no fab, it's way more than that. So basically, a dopamine, let's get into it. Dopamine detox. Alright, there we go. I'm sure you can see that. Dopamine detox. There's certain things you are allowed to do, and then there's certain things you're not allowed to do. I'm gonna start with writing down the things that you are allowed to do, then quickly speak about those, and then the things that you aren't allowed to do, and then thereafter I'm gonna wipe out the things that I'm not allowed to do, because I don't wanna see the don't, because our subconscious mind can't differentiate between do and don't. So when you give it an instruction, a command, anything or question, it'll automatically try and search for the answer. So it can't really differentiate between good and bad. It'll just go about. That's how powerful your brain is. So you're allowed to read. Okay, let me actually get into the concept as to why a dopamine detox is really good. So basically, during our everyday schedule routine, we get dopamine. There's various chemicals being released in our brain. However, dopamine is a really big factor as why we do the things we do, and why we work on a routine. There's obviously a lot of other factors to it, such as paradigms and other chemicals and like things that goes way deeper into our morphic field and our DNA. However, the goal or the aim of doing this dopamine detox is to reset the dopamine levels, reset the dopamine receptors. So the things that you usually do by default, I fall guilty of this, is for example scrolling. And then I noticed that I scrolled too much, so therefore I decided, okay, I have to do another dopamine detox. But the things that you do on routine that might not be really good for you, for example watching Netflix or scrolling or eating bad, like, what's it called? Like, when you eat gang. When you eat gang, guilty, it's not a guilty pleasure, you can say it's a guilty pleasure as well. But it's called whatever. So basically, the point is to reset these dopamine receptors to things that's good for us, you know. So what we are allowed to do is we're allowed to read. I'll put together a list of books that is worth reading for sure. So you can check that out. They'll be in the description below. So you're allowed to read, you're allowed to meditate, you're allowed to stick to your diet. I suggest getting a diet with chicken, your greens, broccoli, spinach, cauliflower, things like that. White meat can be found within the breast of a chicken or a turkey, you know. Stick to chicken, I think that's just generally good, and eat your greens. Maybe eat some rice as well. It does sound like a gym meal plan, but that's just what I suggest to you. There's most probably also lots of other ingredients that you can use that will be good for your body and good for your brain. However, yeah, I suggest that you stick to a diet. If it gets a little bit too boring, then find other recipes with the same ingredients. Oh, you can exercise, of course. There you go. And you can be bored. It's okay to be bored a little bit once in a while, but when I say bored, I'm saying you're just present. You don't think about the past and the future. You're just there right now. Because also another thing that I've done is I've removed my sense of time, because I believe time is an illusion. I think I've said that before. So I've removed my watch. That's what you are allowed to do. There you go. You can read. I'll put as I mentioned, then I'll put a document in the description below. It's gonna be like a Google Docs document. There'll most probably be like 10-15 books that's worth a good read. But you're allowed to read, you can meditate, you can stick to a diet, you can exercise, and you can be bored. So that's what you're allowed to do. Okay, let's give that a little check mark there. This is what you're not allowed to do. However, after I've written this down, then I am gonna erase it, because as I mentioned, then your brain cannot differentiate. So once you give it an order, or once you speak to, when you speak to yourself, it will listen. You yourself listen to what you listen to yourself, So what aren't we allowed to do? No entertainment. Okay, so that means no Netflix, no video games, no YouTube videos. If you do want some sort of entertainment, right? I suggest go on to, I think it's TED Talks. Go on to TED Talks and find something that actually interests you and that will be beneficial to you. Okay, no phone use. Okay, so that means no scrolling. Disable your notifications. Delete the apps if you have to, in order for you not to go into them. There's actually, if you are on Android, then there's something called digital well-being, and if you're on iPhone, then there's screen time, where you can lock your apps. So no phone use. Obviously, if it is work related and you have to call someone regarding work, go ahead, do that. But after that is done, then put it down, throw it away. I don't care what you do, just don't pick it up. So there's another thing as well, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, there we go. No pornography. Ladies and gentlemen, do not jack it off. Don't don't pleasure that coochie. Don't beat your meat, guys. Really, get it together. There will most probably be urges. Withstand it. Try and distract your mind. Find something else that you can do for that period of time. Yeah, until your hormones just dies down a little bit. So no pornography. And when that is said, then also no dating. This can be a little tricky if you're already dating, if you already have a partner. Then just kindly let your partner know, hey, I'm busy trying to reset my dopamine receptors. This will be good for me. If it is beneficial for me, you will also feel the way my frequency will change after I've done this. So if you have a good partner, your partner will say, no problem, of course you can do as you wish. This is really interesting. I am happy to follow along and see how that works out. And if you don't have a partner, not a problem. I don't have a partner, so I don't have to go through that talk. I don't have to explain that, which is super cool. However, I have obviously I have my family. That's not dating, but the people that's close to me, I've told them, listen, I won't be available for the next week because I'm doing this, But when it comes to no dating as well, then it also entails no swiping. Again, ladies and gentlemen, no swiping left or right, no super like. Just don't do it. Delete the apps. Just let your partner know, let your family and your close friends know that this is what you're doing. If they play a huge role in your life, in your everyday life. So just kindly let them know. No pornography, no phone use, no entertainment, no social media. Okay, no social media. This can also be a tricky one if you are, or if your work is on social media. And it's the same with phone use. So what I suggest you doing is, if for example your work is on social media, then I suggest that you take an hour a day, a time slot, let's say from 1 to 2 or 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 or something like that. I suggest that you do it in the later afternoon and not in the morning when you wake up, because you want to have your morning routine. and you don't want to interrupt your brain with notifications and all sorts of things that's happening on social media. No cheat meals. Alright, so try and get a proper diet. Try and get a diet that's good for you, good for your head, good for your heart, good for your body. And then just try and withstand all those temptations. I know sometimes it is easier said than done, but in the long term you'll be more grateful for having done that. If you want to win at anything you do, then practice delayed gratification instead of instant gratification. Definitely the long-term reward outweighs the pain that you'll be going through temporarily at this moment of time. Yeah, so that's basically it. You are allowed to have your TED Talks, watch some TED Talks, you're allowed to read, you're allowed to meditate, you're allowed to stick to your diet, have a good diet, you're allowed to exercise, and you're allowed to be bored. No entertainment, no Netflix and chill with the pornography. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, don't do it. No phone use, don't hit up that crush that ain't actually texting you back. Just don't, just for the better of yourself. No dating, no swiping left and right on Tinder or whatever dating app that you use. No social media, don't scroll endlessly for no reason. No cheat meals. So that's basically it, and we do this because we want to reset our dopamine receptors in our brain. So we will gain dopamine and the things that is good for us. So we'll gain dopamine in picking up a book and reading, and we'll gain dopamine in meditating. What am I saying? Of course, this is like the most important. You can work. So work as well. You'll gain dopamine in reading, meditating, sticking to a diet and exercising. You'll gain dopamine in working. You'll gain dopamine in learning something beneficial, something good, something that you can actually use and get smarter from. So that's it. We want to remove anything else that is not taking us to the next level or improving our life in some sort of way, because essentially that is what we want to do. You know, we don't want to stay stuck on one level. Oh, there's one more thing that you cannot do. Abstain from drinking and smoking. So basically, don't do drugs and don't drink. Don't smoke, don't drink, because even that releases dopamine. Every time you pour that beer, or every time you open that beer, every time you light that cigarette, or every time you hit that joint, then dopamine will be released into your brain. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree or not, it's just a part of it, because it's like it just works on routine like that. Yeah, that is what you can do and that is what you can't do. I'm gonna be doing this for a week and then see how that is working for me. If it's good, I will definitely try and go for another week as well. So 2 weeks, 14 days of a dopamine detox. So yeah, guys, that's it. Have a great one.